authoring manuscripts and proposals. Thanks for considering our request.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you, madam. So let me just introduce you to the participants. We have almost 30 participants as of now, but I think more would be joining in
Sure.
time. So good morning, participants. Today we have with us Dr. Ajita Deshmukh. She is an ICT pedagogy integration specialist, MOOC developer, trainer, and speaker, currently associated with MIT ADT University, Pune. She holds a PhD in education from the University of Mumbai with research focusing on the impact of social media engagement on students' academic achievement. Her work centers on ICT integrated pedagogy, open education, MOOCs, and experiential learning. Dr. Deshmukh advocates innovative teaching approaches that combine technology with storytelling, games, and creative practices. She has led multiple technology-enabled educational projects in collaboration with government and private organizations and has contributed to course design in e-learning and AI in education. She is also a podcaster and scriptwriter with experience in educational media production. So, welcome once again, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, presently, she'll be discussing about active learning strategies and all.
Yes. So, should we begin?
Yes, ma'am. You can begin.
Okay. So, just a few things with the participants, just to start the interaction. So, can someone put in the chat the domains that you teach? By the time I will start sharing my screen so that we are all, involved, because this is active learning and it cannot start without you being active. Okay, HR domain. Thank you for that first part coming up. Okay. I'll just wait till the others start sharing and then here we go. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. Education. Okay, we are having someone from education. Good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning. And yeah. Okay, so we have started with a very nice active note from people immediately responding, and that also shows that early morning slots are better, I guess. So why I say this is I'm just trying to build a connection between people. So I'm trying to share some of my experiences. Normally, I'm called in the afternoon session from 2 to 4 at different places. And then I joke around that, okay, that is because you don't want me. I mean, you arrange my sessions because they're so active that you don't want people to fall asleep after lunchtime. So my FDP sessions are always in the afternoon, kind of. But yeah, it feels good to have a morning session when everyone is fresh. So let's get going with the active learning part. What we are going to do, oh my God, my slide has like, ऐसे भी होता है. You never know what when technology goes, crazy. So what we are going to do is we are going to do active learning. We are going to talk about a few strategies, time and management. But throughout the sessions, you're welcome to ask questions, and we will be discussing the answers and the possible solutions. You don't have to wait till the end of the session to ask questions. Okay, and I think there is a hand raised, so you may just raise your hand, or if you don't see anyone else asking, you can just unmute and ask as well, or you may put it in the chat, whatever is comfortable for you all. So I'm going to come up with another question for you, where I'll just tell you initially that what is this question all about and how you're supposed to answer in the chat box. This is about one class that you're supposed to imagine for 60 minutes. Now, see, this whole session is about authoring tools, about tools that will help us to do online review, manuscript, production line and everything. Now, what about if you're going to consider this type of a synchronous session? Or even if we are going to consider a video, and after that we are going towards the different activities. Now, why this is important? It's simply because there are objections and concerns that are raised by multiple people saying that, oh, means online learning is not as active as physical learning, which is not true. And that is why this particular session for active learning, I will be talking about a lot of things, but the next question that we are seeing here is, what is the time when you think that attention is the highest? Okay, so something of that sort that you have noticed as per your experience in your class. Now, there could be a few people who have not taken any online class, or they have only had recordings, but then you can also apply it for your normal class as well. So even if it is a physical class, that also is fine. But we are considering a large cohort. Okay, why large cohort is because the whole purpose of going online is to be able to reach out to thousands and lakhs of people, and therefore this. So what would be the classroom scenario? So you can just put it in your chat that in the initial part, okay, hands-on session, to predict the classroom scenario in the following format. At the starting point, how much is the engagement? Then 15th minute pe kitna engagement? Then 30th minute pe how much engagement? And then end of the class, how much engagement? So that's how your answers could be. And forget about the values. I mean, you don't have to have 60, 40, 25, 50, nothing like that. You just say that when do you feel, okay, 60, 4 is 25. Okay, so that's like a considerable drop. Okay, thank you for that quick answer. Anyone else is going to, let's just wait and wait for a couple of answers more. Actually, I am not able to see all the chat here. Yeah, thank you, Radhika ji, because you were very quick to say that 60, 50, then 20, and then 25. Okay. At the end of the class, so by the time it is, okay, 70, 30, 50, 20. Okay, nice. Nice, Ankurji. So if we see here, all of us are agreeing that in the beginning, whatever engagement level is there, it is not the same at the end. And from the two answers that we have got, both the answers suggest that towards the end, it is the least. Now, this also tells us, this also takes us back to the school time when we all were students. And remember the last period and the bell used to ring that school is over. And we all would rush out last 5-10 minutes. No one is paying attention. It's exactly this, right? So now what is this actually all about? Now, this is nothing but this is what you have given the values that I'm just putting into a graphical format. That yes, there is a drop. And then like Ankurji has mentioned this 30%, it's reducing. Then suddenly there is a spike. And then again it reduces. So why do you think the spike might be there? What is it like? Suddenly, why is that increase? What could be the reason for the spike? Any ideas? Yeah, I mean, it's okay to, any questions, humor, lovely. Anyone else? Okay, so there could also be a few, okay, there are a few new messages. Let's just check. Interactive PPT, all right. Yeah, so it could also be because, someone is giving out some important questions regarding exams, or it could just be like you haven't really understood it, and so you want more and more examples to be solved. So it could be anything. But let us all understand this fact very, very honestly, that we are not going to have a movie kind of a thing. It is quite boring to watch just one person on the screen. that way. Okay, and slides become monotonous after some time, no matter what you do. So this is an open invitation to everyone that if at any point in time, if you want me to shut off the slides and just talk to you directly, please feel free to tell, because there could have been an overdose of slides. But what we actually, so this is the first awareness, that we are very well aware that none of us are Shah Rukh Khans to, capture the attention of people, and none of us have got VFX effects. But we can do certain things, like here it is questions, humor, interactive PPT. So what we are desiring is, we know when it is going to spike, we know whenever it is going to drop. We just introduce some element, some activity that will increase the engagement. Now, this first thing itself tells us that, okay, we are not going to talk a lot. We are going to actually allow more of interaction. So this is not going to work in a normal one-way traffic wala lecture mode. So then what all things can we do? So there's something called as active learning. There's something called as collaborative learning. There's something called as cooperative learning. Manish ji is from education. He can also start putting in the chat whatever he knows whenever we are discussing something. Why should I only talk, right? Let's make it active, and let's make it more participatory. And anyone else also, whoever wishes to put in examples and asking questions, feel free. Let the chat be full, no problem. Okay. Now, whenever you think about active learning, what comes to your mind? What are the few keywords that come to your mind? Is it something like, what makes you feel that, okay, this is active? Like someone had just said hands-on. So if it's hands-on, is it active learning? So that could be one word. Some other word could be project, or maybe problem solving. What are those words that come to your mind? Come on, let's get going. Type, or talk. I'm waiting for the answers. What would be the keywords that come to your mind? Critical thinking, lovely. Group discussions, okay. Radhika ji is very, very engaged. I would say quiz. Ankur ji is also very, very engaged. We should give them a particular emoji, I guess. Okay, so here is emoji for both of you. It's like a badge, earning a badge. Okay, critical thinking, group discussions, quiz. We spoke about problem solving. We spoke about other things. So no one else has got ideas. How many people do we have here? Around, say, 30. Okay. I hope they are engaged, but they are silent. That's also another thing that we are going to talk about when we will be discussing this. So you said group discussion. Can you have something like read, watch, and do? Questioning. Yes. Read, watch, and do is also another thing. Questioning is quiz, group discussions, active engagement. Here, problem-based learning, quizzes, peer group formation, etc., etc., etc. So some keywords that come to your mind are there on the screen. Some of them are there on the chat, but they all show action. They do not show listening, merely listening. We are reading, we are watching, but after that, we will always be doing something. That does not mean that I'm saying that listening is passive. Listening is also active, but then active listening, we have to cultivate the way in which we listen to actively. Okay, so here right now, what is happening is active listening, because I can't see your faces, right? So I can't see everyone. In fact, I don't know who looks how, but then I can see that as per whatever I'm saying, you're listening to it and the answers are coming in real time. So yes, this is active listening. I can also have different measures or different ways in which active listening can be done. By the time we proceed ahead, if there is time, we will do it. But Manish ji, since he comes from education, he had said that he comes from education, you can actually put it. Even people from HR domain, we all, so I have a management degree in educational management. So in that we do have, when we are talking about communication, there is a active listening part. So if people from the HR domain, management domain, education domain, you can start putting what is your concept of active listening. Let's go ahead till then, and let's talk about different strategies that we can actually have in active learning. And before that, what actually is an active learning activity? Is it only where you can do something? Well, it's also about anything that gets the learner to talk, to write, to reflect, and to express. So it need not always only be hands-on. So like the way we are doing just now, because we have multiple domains here, it's not only engineering, it's not only science, then I'm asking you questions to which you are able to talk, write, reflect, and express. We are not actually doing a particular problem solving, and still this is active. So every activity that has either this component or the actual doing component will be active learning, where I'm sure none of us, none of the teachers here would be, doing like listen and then copy down the notes and all of that. That I'm 100% sure that does not happen. So we are always trying to go beyond the listening phase, beyond the asking for the notes of the class and all of that. So one of the activities that we start with, the most simplest one, I wouldn't say, but the most popular one, is the think, pair, share activity, or in short, it is called as TPS. Anyone here has any idea about this, then please feel free to talk about it. And then let me open the chat. If you have the idea of this, you can say that yes, you have an idea of this. If you have no idea, then please answer that no, this is the first time that you are listening, and it's okay. No one is judging you here. Because if you knew everything, then you would be in my place taking the session. And I'm sure that many of you must be conducting sessions at different places already, but no one knows everything. Okay, thank you for that, Amit ji and Radhika ji, that, okay, know and have heard. So let's go ahead. And I hope then next time you people would be taking the session on this somewhere else. And I would be attending just to see how the people whom we have trained here are taking sessions. So let's go ahead. So this, as you can see, consists of three phases: the think phase, the pair phase, and the share phase. So in the each of the phases, what do we do here? So first we make the learners think individually for a minute. Okay. After that, we pair them up. Many a times if the class is big, or if it is a online session where you might have, it's a big project based group or cohort, you can also have group instead of pair. And then you can have, what do we call it in Zoom, the breakout rooms, where you can pair like just make a group of people and direct them towards multiple breakout rooms, and then they can work on their own. So first, make everyone think for 1 minute individually. Then we pair them up where they will discuss their ideas. And then, like after 10 minutes or so, when they have zeroed down on whatever their discussion is, then we ask them to share. And now this sounds all very abstract. So we are going to take one example. The only thing here is it would be very difficult for me to, make you into pairs, but I can give you 2 to 3 minutes, because I'm sure you must be having a WhatsApp group. So you all have your own numbers, or maybe you have made friends also now by now in this particular group. So in those 5 minutes, you can, connect it to one of your friend in the group, and you can discuss. So let's start with this particular part. Now, taxi scheduling. Now, what do I mean by this is, all of us travel to different places, and be it a railway station or be it an airport, once we have landed, even if we are booking the cab, it is very difficult to find the cab, and it takes quite some time for the cab to reach us. Is there anyone who has not experienced this kind of a problem? Now, this is a problem and it needs a solution. So we have a solution in the form of so many apps where we can book the cab. But then where is the cab? Where am I standing? Where is the cab? When is the cab coming? Oh my God. So then it just takes time. I mean, I hope that each one of us has experienced this. Anyone who's not experienced this, even outside the station, you come out of the station and my God, it's a maze to reach the cab or the auto, right? So what could be the possible solutions to this problem is what you have to think for a minute. So I'm counting the minute. Okay, done? All right. I hope you must be having some idea कि इसको कैसे solve कर सकते हैं in your head. Now, this would be in pairs. Those who come from like data sciences, computer science, you might also be thinking about this. And not only necessarily computer science, data science, but you could also be thinking about it in these ways. You could answer it like this, that, okay, when the cab arrives, then will his ID be entered? When will the ID be entered? When the customer arrives, how do you assign the earliest waiting driver and not the one who has come in last and just because it is easy for him to take out his cab or auto, whatever. Okay. Now, if you can, please connect over with each other and try to think that iska kya solution ho sakta hai? What could it be? Can you have a program? Can you have some ways in which, so let's have 2 minutes for here. When you actually conduct this in an online class, you can give 5 minutes to 10 minutes, but definitely more than 2 minutes. So anyone who has connected with each other and discussed it, you please feel free to, answer. Or anyone can, I mean, just now, if it's very difficult to connect in pairs, let us know that also, and then you can just share what you think, and maybe someone else will pick up what you have said and may sharpen the thought. Now, this is how we orchestrate depending upon the needs of that particular time. I'm opening the chat again. Okay. Anyone who is connected to someone out there? Okay. So does anyone want to talk about their experience of this? That how is it difficult and what could they have done and made it easy? Schedule the cab and respect the time. Yes, but that's the whole thing, right? Like scheduling the cab. How do you schedule it? Because the moment you come down, okay, you get down from, let us say, even if it is a train, you're coming out of the main gate. Now, where you have scheduled the cab has arrived, but there is a long queue for the cabs and the autos to get in. And then it takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes for you and the poor cab fellow to locate each other. So is there any way that you can think of? So thank you, Amitji, for starting the discussion. Anyone can take the thread from here. GPS to be used to trace each other. Oh yes, we all use that. But then we keep on saying, oh, I'm standing near the pillar 5. I'm wearing this. And still, it takes time for them to come out and then reach us. Is there any way in which this could be automated? Is there any way in which this could become easier? I think when the driver clicks app for he is vacant or free, the GPS trace distance from customer and near cab is assigned to the customer. Okay. Thank you, Shankarji. So Shankarji was listening actively, and now he is answering his thought. Yes, it is if you have one app. Okay, because what happens is we have multiple options, right? And again, who books whom and what. So you have to measure all of those parameters. So these could be the few hints that you could give to the discussion pairs or the groups that are there. And then the way you have shared it here, share the possible solutions, share the possible combinations of solutions. And now, as a facilitator, what was I doing? I was actually reading out every person's view, and I was actually repeating, just not repeating it, but also having some opinion about it myself, some experience about it myself. Like when Amitji said schedule the cab and respect the time, I said, yes, of course. The cab is there, but how does he and me meet each other within the quickest possible time? Radhika ji said GPS to be used, and I said, yes, so GPS is being used, but still we are calling the cab and we are saying that I'm standing near pillar 5, yahan pe aisa wala advertisement hai, yahan pe ye hai. So you keep on telling the cab driver. And again here, when assigned the most nearest cab is assigned, that means we will need only one app. But then what if we are using multiple apps? So this is how the discussion has to go on, where the facilitator, and as a facilitator you all would be writing down on a whiteboard if the whiteboard is shared, or maybe even a Miro board. uh, Previously, we used to use Jamboard. It was fantastic, but it's now not used. So any such part where you can scribble, you can also put up a Padlet, or you can just open a slide and keep on typing the words that come up in the chat and just summarize the things. And then after summarizing, we keep on adding something more to it. And that's how they share the thoughts. So what is the whole implementation protocol, or the whole implementation workflow, as it is called? So the first one, I am writing teacher just because every one of us is a teacher. So teacher, I don't want to classify as, professors, assistant professors. No, everyone is an educator. Everyone is a teacher. Ask a specific question. The learner thinks for an individual answer. For how much? 1 minute, or maybe only 2 minutes. Then you ask another question, which is an addition to the previous one. And then we ask them to work in pairs, or if the group is larger, please, it can become think group share, no problem. Okay, it can also be done. I'm just repeating this again for better benefit of any for all of them. If it is an online case, then we can have breakout rooms for this. And then you work in pairs and groups to solve the given task. And then we ask the pairs to share their work with the entire class. Entire thing is shared. There will be a discussion on each of the point, and then we moderate the discussion and we highlight the key points. And that is how we have conducted and implemented a very successful think pair share or think group share, in short, TPS. Should we go ahead with another activity, or we have any questions related to this? And believe me, people who are saying that, oh, this would take a lot of time. No, it doesn't take a lot of time. It just requires some planning, because not every topic can be done using TPS as a method. And not everything should be having only one method or one methodology. So not one strategy. It becomes boring then. So just try to figure out wherever you have multiple solutions are possible. There TPS works fantastic, because everyone will have something something different to add, something different that is their experience. So pick up that particular topic and then convert it into a TPS, and then we can have this. Any questions still here, or we can go ahead? I want a signal from you all. This is active learning. Come on. I can't go ahead till you all say. I mean, of course I can. Yeah, go ahead, ma'am. Thank you, Radhika. Okay. So this is how actually, like I said, we'll be talking about time management also. So if we are doing the think phase, max, please give 3 minutes. Okay, for if it is a very complex complex topic on which we are doing, especially biology related topics, or maybe where mathematics related topics where they have to actually solve, calculate. There it will require 3 minutes for them to, just like scribble individually also. And then the pair of the group 5 to 10 minutes, and then the sharing part again 5 to 10 minutes. If it is online, it becomes much easier, believe me, because you just open up a Padlet or you just open up a whiteboard where people can stick their sticky notes. You don't have to then write somewhere where you're summarizing. You can just pick up and copy paste, and that actually helps the sharing wala part a lot and reduces the time. But what is the most beautiful part here is at every single stage, you will have a clear deliverable. Now, why am I specifying this? There are multiple reasons, but one reason I'll give pedagogic and one I'll give administrative. The pedagogic reason for the necessity of having a clear deliverable is that every time they discuss, or every time, suppose if students are thinking individually, you will make out who is actually thinking and who's not. Do you need to give more explanation? Do you need to do something more? Do you need to clear any misconception when they are sharing? Do you need to see that only one person talks, the other person doesn't talk? How do you motivate the other person? How do you, instigate the other person to take part in the discussion? These are pedagogic parts that every deliverable will tell you to improve the whole of the teaching learning process. Now comes the administrative part. Sorry, can't help it. We all are in what? NBA and NAC and NIRF, and I don't even want to name all of them. All of us are involved in some way or the other. So then every clear deliverable is your evidence to success that you're putting up this as a student-centric method, as an innovative teaching pedagogy, as active learning strategy in itself. So every deliverable, yeah, you can take the screenshot, you can download the PDF of the whiteboard of the sticky notes, and then have a proper report. So this helps. I hope this is good for you. And then you can put an emoji in the chat box and we can move ahead to the next one, the next strategy. So the next strategy is predict, observe, and explain. This works excellent wherever there is like science. There are a few new messages. Yes. Okay, what is this yes for? For the next. Okay, for the next one, right? So this works excellent for anything related to science or economics, anything that we can predict. Okay, now when we say anything that we can predict, human beings love to predict. And in India, which is a cricket loving nation, lena dena kuch nahi hai apne ko, we are not even playing. But the first thing, today is a match, and everyone's the first discussion pointer will be, who's going to win today, do you think? What are we doing? Okay, so that's, I mean, I always laugh at this. See, I don't play. I'm not going to the stadium. My money is not involved, but still I'm concerned, and I want to predict that who is going to win the match, right? Is the market going to crash? Is the LPG price going to increase? My God, we all want to predict, human nature. And then what is it that is going to support the prediction? Suppose if you say that this particular team is going to win the match, the person with whom you're talking is not going to listen to it. Just like, yeah, okay. No, they're going to say, why? But not necessary. Yeah? We don't know we will win or not. You remember that particular time. So then there are some observations that you're making. You know, when that stock market crash had happened, everything, there is a prediction, there is an observation, there is an explanation going on here constantly. So let's make some use of that. And Manishji, I will take up your question, but let me just complete this. Okay. So here is the video, and I'm going to play the video, and you are supposed to answer the question here, that will the paper be pushed down, will the paper remain horizontal, or will the paper be pushed up? So you can see there is a paper kept, and yeah, so what is actually happening? So what I have done is I've kept the video. He is explaining that the air is going to come like this. The paper is kept like this. So what do you think will happen? Come on, let's have some answers. It's okay if you go wrong, doesn't matter. Our prediction also doesn't come correct always. So don't take load. Any answers? I'm again playing the video. I keep on playing the video. Pushed it down, I think. Okay. I'll wait for 2 more answers. Let 3 people answer. Horizontally upward. Okay. Pushed down. Okay. So now just see what happened here. You are predicting the outcome. Upward, B remains horizontal. Yeah. So now, okay, just a moment. Let me just open the chat again. Now, Deepika ji also has an answer. So again, that is another case where, you know, when initially we started talking and discussing, it was Ankur ji and Radhika who were very, very quick to answer. But suddenly Shankarji is answering, suddenly Manishji is asking a question, suddenly Anuragji is answering, Deepika ji is answering, Sunilji is answering. Now, this itself says that we all love to predict. And you must have seen that people argue about their prediction, right? So even your learners are going to do the same thing. So then here, what, and then we ask them that what is your prediction? What do you observe? And then what do you explain what is your prediction and your observation all about? So you play the visual, you have to like literally, this is the pre-session is more time consuming because you have to identify a correct video and you have to play the visual till a strategic point. After the strategic point, it just pauses and the learner will keep on watching the visual. You have to pause the visual, they'll predict, discuss what will follow. Here we have not yet discussed simply because this particular cohort of learners are not learners, but you all are faculty members. So how could I have taken this ahead is when someone says that it remains downward, then I can ask them that, okay, why do you say so? Which law is it? Have you read about this somewhere? Can you quote the law? Can you give the formula? If someone says upward, someone says remains horizontal. For each of it, I will ask that which is the law of physics that is applied here? What is the formula of it? Where do you see it in daily life? So there are predictions and discussions. There will be arguments also. And I want the class to get into argument simply because that would be critical thinking. So I will take a back seat and I will ask that, okay, now then what? Why do you think your answer is correct? How many people agree? How many people don't agree? Okay, why don't you agree to this answer? Do you have a contradictory point? What is that point? So I can keep on having the discussion like that. And only after that, I will show the rest of the visual. Yeah, he defines any physics law. Correct. So every law, then, depending upon what is the duration of your class, it can also be that, okay, let's try to figure this out that, just now the visual that we saw, I can actually convert it into a numerical by telling that what is the pressure given by that air, that hose of the vacuum cleaner. And then is there a formula where we can apply this, and then can you prove this law? But believe me, this initial prep takes a long time. In fact, we have a couple of examples that we have kept it ready from our own group, that every time we cannot repeat the same example because there are so many people who might be attending different FDPs. The same way, when we are going to any class, please remember to have multiple examples, because sometimes what happens is that particular example doesn't actually click in the class, and there's no particular reason. It just doesn't click. Like in music, we say that the best of the singer also does not sing on the accurate sur at that particular day. That does not mean that the singer is bad. It was just not his day. Very often than not, I always tell my students this, that it's okay. If you are not able to perform today, it's all right. Why? Because Tendulkar bhi zero pe out hota hai. So yes, so that's fine. Then do it again tomorrow. You don't stop playing. You actually practice more, and then you score again. So that's the attitude that also we need to say. Yeah, people must be thinking that why am I giving so many cricket examples? One, just because we had a fantastic win a couple of days ago, and that's quite fresh. And also we are a cricket loving nation. So it's I mean, there are 2 to 3 things which are always there in the mind of almost all Indians. One is cricket, the other is films. And then there are so many other things as well. Okay, how many people agree with me that these 2 things means yes, people will relate? I'm waiting for the chat. Agree. Thank you, Anurag ji. Thank you, Radhika ji. Why am I saying this? Again, those are going to be converted into active learning strategies, that how to use the things that are going around us. Because these are the things that no one tells us to discuss. These are the things that no one tells us to predict. See, when we discuss that which team is going to win or which movie is better, we are not going to get anything out of it. But still, they are discussion points, they are still engagement points. And this is exactly how we figure out how to engage our learners in online, offline, any type of course. People can correlate with this. Yes. People also fight amongst each other. This is my favorite hero, that is my favorite hero, my God. And then, there are actually clubs, fan clubs. So there's so much of emotional investment, time investment, that your engagement is very high at that particular time. So can we use these principles in our teaching learning to make the engagement high and to have active learning? The whole purpose of this session is only that. And of course, I will be talking about a lot of real life examples and very recent examples that I have conducted in class with my students, which are which which are like new this time. This is the first time I have conducted something like this, and I would like to share it with you. So it's not even, maybe it's not even in the slides in a proper written format, because I've just finished one yesterday and one 2 months ago. So still the report is in the making, right? But I would definitely love to share this and also get your views, that can this become a little bit better or something like that. Okay. And then this is how we go ahead. That once the entire visual is being seen, now the learners are going to see where their prediction stands. This is again a time when we have to be cautious a little bit, because suppose if my prediction is correct, okay, like in the previous one, the airflow wala part. Okay, so Amit ji is answering, it will have the entire principle and the law. Now see, this is exactly what I'm saying, right? Because I never said right now that please give a law or something. We are discussing that, oh yes, this we can do in the class. And Amitji just can't help himself. And that's a good thing because he is actually telling that this is the law and this is how it will be and it will lift the paper. This exactly is the point where, the student actually wants to say it. And if it is right, there will be a couple of people who are wrong as well. And then they will have a very small face, and the others are jubilant, yeah, my answer is right, and all that. We just need to be very cautious and careful that no ridicule happens for the people whose answers are wrong. Now, because we are in higher education, why I make this as a point is um, it's a very tricky age. You never know what will get into ragging. So we just need to be very careful that the jubilation and the celebration doesn't take a longer time than required. We just say clap, clap, and then okay, it's okay. Those who went wrong, don't worry. Like I said, even Tendulkar ka wicket jata hai, 0 pe. Try harder next time, and then you immediately go to discussing the principles explained in the video, right? So this is how the part entirely of active learning proceeds ahead. And we should never forget the base which is constructivism. Manish ji, would you want to write in the chat about constructivism before I explain it? Or you want to unmute yourself and speak? If the participants are allowed to unmute, then we can. Okay. Okay, so since I think he'll take a little bit of time, I will just go ahead with this. So there are multiple theories and schools of pedagogy. So one where we repeat a particular thing often so as to learn is called as behaviorism, where, even if it is, even if you're not involved uh, with your brain, I would say, still you remember how to do it, or you still remember it. Rote learning, okay? Behaviorism. You're so conditioned to it that the moment that particular thing comes up, okay, you are going to repeat it or you are going to get that outcome. Example, the tables learned. So if you all can have a dose of nostalgia to think that, oh, how we used to recite the tables. And if someone would make a stop in between and suddenly ask, okay, 3 8s are, then we would actually, in our minds, we would actually recite the whole table and then we would say 3 8s are. But as we grew, yes, we started becoming more cognitively aware. So the second type of school of thought is cognitivism, where we don't rote learn or where we are not conditioned, but we actually are completely involved in the thinking. The third one is constructivism, where we build upon the ideas and the experiences that the learner already has. So if we see both of the examples, TPS as well as POE, TPS spoke about the taxi, right? So now, actually, this is an example in instruction design also, as well as any of the computer science related or algorithm based things. Even for design, this is used in the domain of design. There you will have some theories, there you will have some other parts which can be used to enhance and build upon your experience. So for every domain, we will need to figure out a problem that people experience in general. Okay, and then building upon that, we conduct the entire activity. Same way for predict, observe, explain, we actually showed them. And then people who are not from science, not from physics, also would start thinking that, if this is going, then what will happen? Will it go up? Will it go down? Will it remain horizontal? What will actually happen? Have I seen something here? So we actually start connecting the dots of our own experiences and construct the knowledge. Now some more part of theory comes which clarifies my misconception that gets built upon my knowledge and therefore on the foundation of my experience, and therefore this becomes much more stronger than rote learning because now it's much more uh, highly involved cognition, highly involved thinking process where it is combining with the experience, and therefore we are constructing something in our own memory space or in our own brain. That is why this becomes much more important. Okay, let me just check the chat. There was some message there in the chat, I guess. Yes. So we have done two activities so far, and then we'll go ahead with the others. But this is the moment when I would want to answer the question that Manish ji, I think, had asked, that how to make a shy student. Yeah, Manish ji had asked how to encourage how can teachers encourage or engage shy students to participate in active learning. Okay, now this is something which we have been discussing, and I have written also about it on LinkedIn in the last month. Now, this, like I said, this is more with sharing my own experiences. We have this particular notion that active learning means always people have to talk, means people have to participate, means people have to speak up. Don't worry, even I used to have that kind of a notion. But now I am going to ask you a question here. My question is, we go to an art gallery, we see painters, we see beautiful paintings. Do we actually go and watch a painting and then come back to the painter and say that, hey, I really liked your painting. This was a marvelous way of strokes. This was a beautiful mix of colors. Keep it up. And again, we go to the next painting. Again, we notice something. Again, we come back. Do we do that? Does that mean that we are not appreciating or observing the paintings? Yeah, answers. Will we go like this to every single painting? No. Does that mean that we were not engaged? No, but we appreciate it in our minds. Exactly. So now, will the painter say that, yeah, yaar, no one came and told me anything. People don't know anything. My pura mehnat is waste. Will they come and say this? No. Will we write there is a book kept, right? Your feedback. What do you think? Some of us write in that book, some of us don't write in that book, and it's okay. But we don't go every time and tell the painter, tell the artist that, oh, this was such a lovely thing or something like that. Exactly. Even for the museum, right? Do we actually go and say this for every time we watch an exhibit? Oh, wow, like, what is that? Whatever, like that crown or something like that. Okay? I don't get the correct word now. So whatever we see, will we come and tell each one? Yeah, Gopal Krishnan ji, thank you. So if we are not doing that, then why are we expecting that students should exhibit? There are students who will be very silent, but they are just not expressing. So our option is to give them multiple ways to express. There will be students who are not even going to look at your face and answer. They will always be like this, and they will be okay. And I'll tell you something more. Now the generation of students that we are getting, all of us, are Gen Z students, correct? They have a very different way of communicating. You know, I don't know about all of you, but is there anyone who has experienced this, that earlier at least we could know from the students' faces? That also is objectionable to me, because come on, all of us have done this pretense. All of us have pretended that we are very, very attentive. At the same time, we were daydreaming about something else. Come on, come on, let's be very honest. We all have done that, right? Like, oh yes, 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 oh yes, yes. My mind is somewhere else, but I will be trying, I'll be nodding at the correct moment. I will nod, because I am actually actually analyzing my teacher's expressions. I'm not listening to what the teacher is saying. I'm only analyzing the expressions, and if my professor's expressions are like where they think that, when I think that they need a, they need a yes from me, then I will be like yes, yes, nodding. Sometime I will smile. I am not. I mean, मेरे दिमाग में कुछ नहीं जा रहा. I'm not even paying attention. But still, I can pretend. All of us have done that, and we know that students do it. Now, the students actually have blank face. You ask them, and they will not even nod. They'll just say, hmm. Even if they say this much, that's like, okay, big deal. So, actions need not always be spoken words or gestures or facial expressions. They could also be written feedback. Now, written feedback need not always be a Google form. Come on, it's boring. So, you can have something like this, or you can have them smiley faces, or the reactions if it's an online, because this whole session, this whole of FDP is for online. So here we have a lot of options to react, and the emojis are excellent examples of expression, because they don't require much of time. They're very easy because you have options. And believe me, your students, your learners will respond using emojis a lot. Okay, so let me just go to the chat, and Manishji, did I answer your question? Are you satisfied with my answer? And are the others also satisfied with my explanation? Do you all also have now Gen Z students? Do you also face this, that, oh, they are not as expressive as my previous batches? If something of that sort is there, let us please understand that it's not that they are not interested. It is only that they don't feel the necessity to express. And we need to understand this before we proceed ahead. Why? Okay, again, I'll give you one very real example. So my friend, and my friend's daughter, we three of us were going out, and my friend was driving the car, and her daughter was sitting next to her, and I was sitting behind. And the music was on, and my friend told her daughter that please reduce the volume. Okay. Now this daughter, a teenager, did not say anything, did not say yes, okay, whatever, but she reduced the volume, which none of us saw her actually reducing, because most probably she must have reduced using a remote or whatever. Okay. Now my friend got irritated because she did not actually answer her, right? So my friend said, hey, where is your attention? I told you to reduce the volume. And she said, Mama, but instead of shouting, why don't you just see that the volume is already reduced by 3 notches? I've already done it. Oh my God. So, okay. So this generation does not, I'm not generalizing it, but these are some of my observations. It could help if we are sharing each other's observations. And therefore, it's not that I'm making a general statement, but we just need to understand that even one of my students in the previous semester, um, we give internal marks and we show them the internal marks. So I was giving them internal marks, and she's quite a good student. So she saw that I'm giving her marks, and she said, ma'am, why have I not got highest in this particular practical discussion part? So I said, oh, because maybe you discussed less. I did not want to commit exactly. So I said, maybe because you did not participate in the discussion. So you think is what I told her. So she said, but ma'am, if I have not taken if I have not participated in the discussion, does not mean that I have not learned. I was like, yes, I'm not saying that. And then it made me think again that, yes, are we going to say this for this generation of the students who express very differently that you did not participate in the discussion? Maybe we need to go ahead and actually give them multiple options to express. Then I said, okay, can you make a comic? Can you make a face? Can you make a cartoon instead of like just discussing a point if you don't have? Or do you want to make an infographic? Do you want to make a meme? And then we know that there are different ways in which they are going to express. So if they are shy, then we need to find out different ways to engage them. That is what we are going to see in the next part. So is this much okay with everyone? All right. Okay, so by the time you put things in the message, in the chat, I'll go ahead. So what we are trying to do when we are building connections is we are connecting the prior knowledge, the concept, and their own experience. And so that is how the constructivism goes ahead. And this is because we are doing online, and it is also applicable for offline classes. What we do is in active learning, we try to figure out what things can be done in the class and what things can be done out of class. So in case you're using blended learning, flipped learning, all these parts can go out of class. They need not go essentially out of class, but they can go out of class. So if this is going to be an online or a virtual or a MOOC, you can actually put an individual task as part of group discussion forum, sharing with the peers, your self-reflection. All of it can be in the form of discussion forum, out of class activity, blended, flipped, anything. But we need to figure out that much before, that is at the planning stage, that what is going to be my individual task, what is going to be the collaborative task. Sharing, can they share out of class? You might be wondering, how can they share out of class? Well, if I allow them Padlet, if I allow them discussion forum, they can. Can you have a peer review out of class? Yes. Again, if it is in the discussion forum or if it is in the Padlet, you can have people commenting upon it, and you can do that. Self-reflection, yes, give them time to think and then again answer. But collaborative tasks could be difficult sometimes out of the class, especially if not everyone is in the same time zone, or everyone is not sure to have the same type of equipment. Okay, so again, in India, we have internet is very easily available and cheaper as compared to many countries of the world. And believe me, we are talking of the progressed countries where internet is not as cheap as it is in India. So then also the time zones matter. So if you are going to offer a MOOC, or if your online classes comprise students who are, from abroad, international students, then just figure out that how you will adjust. But there are lots of things that you can do out of class. Now, we also need to prepare the class for this, because we have to share the objective and the purpose of why we are doing what we are doing. It just cannot be one fine day. My educator is doing some predict, observe, explain, some other thing. So we have to be very clear with the objective. The students need to feel very free and safe, that no one is going to ridicule them if their answer goes wrong. Please share the expectations also, what you have. Do you think that students have to express it in a particular way? Do you think that learners need to draw something? Do you think that they have to submit something? Then better to share the expectations right in the beginning, and then devise all the instructions and materials also in the same format. This will save you a lot of headache later. So you prepare the class knows why we are doing this activity. It is not just one-off activity, jo pata hi nahi hai, suddenly it came out of the blue and suddenly it went away and then nothing ever happened in that way. So please don't try to do that. Always have like active learning becomes uh, your signature statement. So I'll tell you something, like now I'm using the presentations and all, but I always have my classes are completely full of activities. So some day I start with the presentation, students will ask me, today what happened to you? आपकी तबीयत ठीक है? Are you all right? Why do you want the presentation? Where are our like I always have the chits, or I have the scenario cards, or I'll ask them to make groups and something like that. Even in online, I will open up the whiteboard. Previously I used to open up the Jamboard and I'll make them write. So whatever I'm saying, you write the points there. I'm not writing the points. Notes are getting ready right in front of you. And then something of that sort, So that becomes your signature statement. Please don't make it like one of something out of the blue coming once in a semester. Please try to include more and more active learning. This is also some background preparation, that where is the struggle and what information will help you to understand that students are learning. Not necessarily always the answers in the discussion. Sometimes an infographic will help you to learn. Sometimes maybe a project will help us to learn that students are learning. And project be kaisa, like what kind of project? The project where students actually are doing and it's not being outsourced. Also, if it is a project, it's a group project, suppose, then I make it a point with my students, the way it is done in the journals. Like, what is your contribution? Did you conceptualize the project? Did you collect the data? Did you write it? Did you prepare the draft? Did you prepare the diagrams and the graphs? Whatever is your contribution, you have to write it there. So someone like me, I conceptualize things a lot. So I will come up with this conceptualization. I'll come up with all the rubrics. I'll come up with all the forms of data collection and everything. I might send out someone for data collection. Again, analysis I will do. I will write, but I'll ask someone else to do the graph. So every one of the team has got a very distinct role, which they have to write, what they have done. So that helps me to understand what my students' weaknesses are, what my students' strengths are, and that also ensures that everyone in the group project is actually working. Otherwise, many a times what happens is one person doesn't do anything and the others keep on working and they are cribbing because that person's name has to be included because they're in the group, or then there are complaints and then we have to sit and resolve those complaints. So please try to have this and get things sorted for you also and for the students also. And these active learning strategies, will they provide me with this data? So like when we were talking about TPS and I said that there is a clear deliverable, which is going to be used in both the things, like in admin record documentation also and a pedagogy documentation also. So same way, if I'm going to use my predict, observe, explain, can I somewhere get a deliverable that, oh, these were the predictions that were done and these were the observations. So how many people predicted correctly? How many people observed correctly? How many people could explain correctly? So all of that again becomes a good documentation, and it also helps us to identify whether this strategy can work the next time in a better way or for a different topic as well. Now, this is actually the spectrum of complexity. You may take a screenshot of this. Of course, I'll be sharing the slides with the organizers, but still, now when this spectrum is from simple to complex, when I mean here is, it's arranged with respect to the complexity is about not how difficult or how higher order thinking skills are involved. It is about the classroom commitment, online, offline, whatever, but it is about the time commitment. It's also about how many things would be required for logistic purpose. Okay, so for example, think, pair, share, if you see, it's here. It doesn't take much. I will only have to figure out something which can be which can have multiple possible answers and solutions, and then I need to conduct it in the class. I don't need a lot of resources, but if I can think of, games, simulations, forum theater, site visits, lot of logistics are involved, so it becomes a complex active learning strategy. Depends upon your time, your resources, availability as per your semester, as per your teaching requirements, as per your institution requirements, what all things can be done. But never think that itna hi ho sakta hai. There are much more. That, see, this interactive lecture and evocative lecture, it has got so many multiple things that you can think of. So please try to experiment, try to explore. Even this informal groups, case studies, very popular. Brainstorming. Many of you, even when I saw this particular graph for the first time, I was quite surprised that brainstorming comes up in somewhere in the middle in complexity. Really. Then I actually tried reading up on it. And then, oh yes, the same thing that Manishji was asking. Brainstorming can happen only when there is good communication. People should be willing to communicate their ideas. If people are shy or they feel that they are not safe, their ideas are going to be laughed at, or if it is like they're not really interested in the project, they're not in the class, they just want to get it over, then they're not going to participate. And then brainstorming will become a tiresome job for the instructor or for the teacher who is actually conducting it. And therefore the complexity. So we cannot have brainstorming right in the beginning of the semester when you and the students are very new to each other. Once you've settled, once the students know that, oh, okay, we can talk anything with this particular educator, then you can go ahead with the brainstorming. And so these are the stages of complexity. Any doubts still here? Any questions? Because we have some more strategies to look at, which go beyond this and which are very much Gen Z activities and new kind of things. All right. So while you design the activities, let us be very real. We need to have this documentation also clear. Again, for pedagogic purpose, to give me an idea that how long will this take. So I'll just give you an example. I have asked my students to come up with an inclusive class idea. Okay, so I have asked them to actually take a photograph of any classroom that they have encountered. It could be their school, it could be their college, whatever, okay, or wherever. To take a photograph, find out the pointers which do not make the classroom inclusive. Maybe accessibility ka problem hai, there's no ramp, there's the place between the benches is very less, whatever. And now use AI or use physical models to reconstruct the class to make it more inclusive. Now they have a jury exam for that, and I have given them more than a month to prepare the entire thing. So what would be the timeline? When is it going to be the final exam? When do I need the deliverable to me? Will the students need like reworking? Then is there enough of gap? How long? What instructions? So even after doing all that, just I had a couple of emails from the students asking me about something, and then today again I put a clarifying message to the entire group just because someone had asked about this. So how will they interact? What is expected? What is my rubric? I have shared, I mean, we have to share everything right in the beginning, and that's how we will design the activity. Once there are activities in our mind, the sequence will always be whatever we just write the objective and the outcome first, then we structure the activity, um, we start implementing the activity, and then we evaluate the activity for the achieved outcome. We all know we need this for outcome based education. We all need for the COPO mapping. So whenever you are doing this, please write the outcome very, very clearly and the objective very clearly, and also inform it to the student. So normally what I do is I prepare a handout for the active learning part, and then I actually give it out into our LMS, and I just put it out in the LMS that this is how this is going to be done. And I want to see this in your submissions. And then all of it is the evidence of success, right? And it also helps the students to keep a track of their journal, because I have also made a reflective journal as a mandatory activity, because they complete an activity and then they submit it, but after that submission also they have to attach a reflection to it. So even if they are creating I mean, even if they're developing an app, the app is tested and now the app is out, but after that they have to sit and reflect that what was their learning, what was the new learning, how do they think that this app could have become better. Every single activity will have a reflection note, at least of one side of a page. This generation is very good with journaling, so I have also asked them to create journals, creative journals, reflective journals. It is a very good activity in itself. It is an active learning strategy. So please try to include such activities that will also help you to evaluate and map the achievement that is there. So, actually there are more than 350 strategies, out of which, even if I try to figure out the best possible ones, there are more than 50, out of which we have done two in great details. And now we are moving towards whatever is contemporary. Okay, so let's go ahead with this. Oops. So this is one activity which works beautifully for all domains. And now when I explain this activity, um, and I'll give you one example how this could be modified and can be done for a language class. Okay. So what we do is we pick up one term, and then we ask the student to, not throughout the class session only, out of class also, identify every single place where this term is used in that day, anything related to that term. So why this activity has come up is also, I'll tell you from where I got the inspiration of this activity. I got the inspiration of this activity from my school language teacher. Okay, now I don't know whether how to say this in multiple languages, but in languages which are in Sanskrit based, Hindi, Marathi, there is a term where two words are combined to form a new word. Okay, it's called a sandhi. So when the teacher used to teach this particular thing, she once asked us that you go around and look at the names of the buildings and come up with the names of the buildings which have two such words which are used together. So like, just for an example, I will say, see, if the name is Gajanan, it is like Gaj plus Anand. There are two words. And we never had looked at the buildings around us to figure out, oh, this is the building name. Oh, this is it, like that. So then if we are seeing a building named as Chandralok, it is like those two words are there. And then this is not two words, this is one word. So that's the word of the day kind of a thing. And I actually used it in higher education. And my God, the students have loved it. And they are loving it for the technical terms because of the kind of subjects that I teach. But you can use it across the domains. Like you can use it as a learner, I have learned it for languages, and I, as an educator, have applied it for technical domains, and it works fine for both. So you can go ahead and use this. Oh my God, this is something that is fantastic. Pop culture, popular culture. Um, wow. Just go through this, and then I'll tell you what recently I took this to the next level, I should say. Almost all the case studies, word problems that you do from just try to involve the current events. So one very popular thing that physics teachers do is to have to to explain the harmonic motion, or to to explain the motion as like 4, 6, and you have the trajectory path, and then you just explain the angle and everything that comes to it. You can also use the cricket dashboard to explain calculations, analysis. You can use the stock index dashboard to explain lots of other things. Now, when I said I have taken this year, I have taken it to the next level. Okay, so I was teaching leadership, educational leadership and administration just last week. And I thought, why should I keep the case studies as like scenario 1, scenario 2? What I did was I took 3 films and I picked up characters from that, and I asked them to analyze the characters for the leadership traits and the theories and the qualities actually, and then the theories were explained later. One film was Three Idiots. Amir Khan's character in Three Idiots. Does he have leadership qualities? Does he show leadership traits? What and why? Why do you say that? Believe me, I mean, you can just imagine how engaged that class was. And this is 18-year-olds. I mean, the Gen Z students. I was not even sure that they have watched these movies. And because of that, they only told me that, do we have more such movies? I said, yeah, of course we have, but I'm not sure that you have watched them. And they said, ma'am, can you arrange something for us? So I said, okay, we'll have a watch party on tomorrow, that's Saturday. And then you are going to solve them as case studies. The same thing, because I come from the state, I mean, from Pune, there was a Pune International Film Festival. I sent my master students for the film festival and to actually learn from the films. And I had an assignment for them. I told them to watch many documentaries and other things. And I told them that what does this, pick up one film from your choice, and what does the film teach you that the curriculum cannot? And you have to submit an essay. There's no word limit, nothing. But then these are the case studies where we are including pop culture. Similarly, I think 2 to 3 years ago, I asked them to have memes, science memes. And my students were asking me whether they can submit more than a meme, more than one. And then again, like I said, again, the deliverable and everything. So I said, okay, let's do one thing. I'll put it up on Padlet, and we will use the Indian Idol kind of uh, rubric. Your total marks, 50% comes from popular vote, 50% comes from the jury vote. And then just imagine how many concepts of science they have explained in terms of memes, in terms of GIFs. Really, please include pop culture. Similarly, everything using emojis. Can you explain everything using emojis? So people who are shy will also try. And they are not actually shy, just that their expression, the method of expression is different. Comic strips, again, wonderfully they make. There are lots of tools, free tools that you can use to ask them to make uh, comic strips, crosswords and puzzles. Oh my God, they just love it. So try to include all of that. This is again I use for science, but I don't know wherever there is a rule or there is a law, you can use it. Instead of saying that state the law or according to the law or whatever, this I use for normal formative assessment. I just take the law or some theory if it is there. I will rewrite the whole of thing into my own words. And then I'll remove off one critical word from that. And this is that quote -1. So they first have to decipher which word will make that entire part complete. And then what is the law that this particular quotation is trying to say? So there's a lot of like connecting the dots in the brains. And quickly they will be engaged for the next rigorous activity. And it just makes them feel invested because they've invested so much of their brain in solving the riddle. And so I always suggest to teachers that please make crosswords, please make puzzles. And there are these few. When I'm saying crosswords and puzzles, I am going to take you to a few, to one tool which is really very freely available, but I don't know why many teachers don't know about it. So I've kept some time just to show that. But you can ask them to prepare concept maps. You can also ask them to prepare a memory matrix. So you can have a matrix, maybe 3 by 3, 8 by 8, or whatever, and you you place words in it so that that whole thing should make sense either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally. It should be the main words of a particular definition, of a particular formula, of a particular theory, of a particular concept. That also works very well. Then categorizing is yes. Send the problem. Now this is something that is again kind of a jugaad, but it works great. So because now the students are also in that active learning zone of riddles and doing something new and exploring something new. I ask them to to create a problem or to create a scenario, and one group ka scenario will be solved by the other group ka scenario, and so on. Because sometimes even we are human beings, we run out of ideas, and students have got lovely ideas. So why not? So in fact, please don't wait till you run out of ideas. Give some classes should be entirely from the input of the students. So just tell them that, okay, it's enough. I always keep on asking you riddles and giving you scenarios. Why don't you take over from me? And I will also try to solve the problem. And then it's going to be all fun. The second one, profiling, I used it for my chemistry class because basically I teach organic chemistry. So I had asked them, because in that particular batch, I had noticed that there are quite a few people who have artistic abilities. So I had asked them that think of, like, again, it was just an activity. It was a revision kind of an activity, but I have lovely collection of deliverables. What I asked them is to pick up one element from the periodic table and try to imagine, based on the characteristics of that particular element, try to imagine if it were a person or a character, how would that person look like? So then they had a very slim and dancing type of a lady dressed in orange when it is oxygen. Why? Because it is going to support burning. So they have their own logic. And then they have to explain why it is. So we had very nice persona cards coming out of that. So these are a few other active learning strategies that do help us. And please try to make them cooperate, because if you are the faculty that teaches engineering, medicine, management, or any other such domain where there is competitive exam to enter into the field, then believe me, the students are so used to competition that they don't want to cooperate. But the world will work only when we cooperate with each other. And having such type of activities also enable a lot of cooperation, and it tells them that it will really take you to places uh, where you cannot land up with a competition. So with this, I want to stop my presentation because I want to show you a site which will help you to create puzzles and riddles. So I stop my presentation here, and if there are any questions for so far, whatever we have done, let us please have that first. and then we can go ahead. Okay, any questions or anything so far? So whatever we have done so far, is this like is everyone okay with this? So far, so good. Let's have some answers, anything like there is something good. Yes. Okay. All right. So my question is how many people would actually have difficulty in having games or puzzles or riddles in their class? Do you think that uh, it will be very difficult for you? And then why? Thank you, everyone who had said uh, yes, and thank you, and very insightful. But do you think it would be problematic for you to conduct such things? It could be anything, like it takes a lot of time to make puzzles and riddles, and how many can game puzzles for physics? Yes, yes, you can create puzzles for all subjects. Okay, so before we go ahead, games, puzzles for physics, how? Yeah, we are going to do that. So, okay, now this is something that I always ask all the FTB participants. Have you ever seen um, every newspaper publishes crosswords every single day? It's not difficult, Theodorji, for technical subject. It just takes a little bit of effort, and that's what we are going to actually see. So every single day there is a crossword, and the older generation, okay, like our parents, people who are in their 70s, nearing their 70s, all our parents also will sit with the crossword, rattle their brains, and keep on solving it. And then they get stuck with a word, then they will ask that, what can this word be? And then they'll break their head over it for the entire day, right? Situational example which used in decision making, it would be difficult. No, not really. It is just time consuming, and this is where your AI can help you. So whatever is your idea of decision making situations, whatever tuta futa ideas they are, you can put them in your generative AI, in your LLMs, to create actually uh, a properly worded situation that will reduce your load. So we have AI now, so you don't have to actually worry. But yes, the context of the situation, AI cannot give you. Even it doesn't know what decision you want the students to take. So you will have to first figure it out, at least some pointers, and then your generative AI can be helpful. But this crossword thing, this puzzle thing, it's something that had intrigued me for a very long time. And people will carry the newspaper even when they are traveling. And I travel a lot, so everywhere I will see that the youngsters, they want the mobile phone, but the older students, I mean, well, sorry, why do I say students? But the older people will sit with their newspaper, will have their crossword, and they will start solving the crossword. So whose brain is occupied more? And then I was wondering, why are we not doing this? And so I found that what you people are saying, that it would be difficult for a technical subject to create a crossword puzzle, or even making it would require so much of my time. But I found one website. So I'm going to take you here. Okay, so this is the Google search bar, and I am putting up I'll put the link. So this, okay. This is a puzzle maker which allows us to solve word search, crisscross, double puzzles, maze, fallen phrase, hangman also, cryptograms, hidden message, and so on. Let me just put it in the chat. And here is the link. And then I'm going to open the crisscross puzzle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, it is so easy. So here is the trial. Enter your words and clues. On each line, enter a word followed by a space and then a clue for that word. So anyone from here, from physics, because people were talking a lot about physics and technical subjects, can you give me a term and a clue for the term? So the term the students will fill up and the clue is something that we will write here. Like this is just as an example, if I'm going to have the word friction, so it says on each line, enter a word followed by a space and then the clue for that word. So friction. So I put a space and then I write force that makes it possible for us to walk. So I'm going to write some things, but I would want you all also to give me some terms from your own domains. Doesn't matter. We'll make it a mixed puzzle. Don't worry. Then I'm going to write bond. Like I said, I'm basically a teacher of organic chemistry, even if now I teach education technology. So bond. Now I want to make a clue out of it. Here also you can actually use AI to, create clues. But anyone else, I'm opening the chat. So anyone else can give me two more words, two more terms and the clue. So two I have put, now two you have to tell me and then we will generate. I told you already, you can use energy. So can you give me the clue for energy? Work, energy, okay. Energy and work, okay. Can you give me the clue for work? I will put it for energy. World exists because of me. And work. It is a term in physics, but also in daily life, which no human being wants to do. I know, but no one wants to work, but it's a term in physics, right? Active learning. Acha, active learning by doing and participating. Thank you. So, active learning. I'm just changing it slightly. Okay. Okay, so active. Fine. Active learning by doing and participating. Suppose if I wanted to write active learning as one word, then I will have to put a hyphen. Okay. Yeah, doing and participating. Okay. Now I just create my puzzle. And here my puzzle is ready. My puzzle is ready. It has already used browser program used to access the internet. Yes, so now I have already pasted the link there for this whole thing. And you can make double puzzles, you can make maze, you can make math squares, you can do cryptograms. Lovely. Hidden messages. Students love it. And now you can just actually download this. You can copy this, you can print this and share it, a PDF version of it in your online classes in your LMS. One of my student, I mean, not, I don't want to call her as a student, but yeah, she took one elective and she was like, I mentored her is a better word. What she did was she found that it was difficult for her students, some of her students, this was during COVID, their phone, they used to use the phone, and so it was becoming difficult for them to download the PDF and edit PDF. So what she did was she created it like this and then used this squares boxes. She used the Excel sheet and the Google sheet to create these boxes, because then that becomes cloud based, so you can use your phone and actually type in there, right? So that is also some next level of jugaad that you can do. One, but the thing is what you all were saying, that it becomes difficult for us to create, because see, this is going to like rattle, I mean, you'll have to rattle your brains. But then it's like, how much time do we have to do all that? So please use your AI to create the clues. But also at the same time, let's keep it to one particular topic that we are going to teach, and this is excellent for conducting formative assessment also. Why? Because see, formative assessment is something where we want our students to learn more, and they need to have a chance to, like, be very actively scratching their brains to get the answer rather than looking here and there and getting the answer. So if you take a fill in the blank and a match in the pair and a quiz, either of it happens. They are very sincere and all okay, but there are chances that they will just ask, "Hey, iska answer kya hai, bata?" Okay, or they will just be like, "Okay, I don't know the answer, I'll guess." But you put it in this format, your guesswork is not there. You are actually utilizing the brain because you now have clues in format of some alphabet that comes there, and then that's good to go, right? And then, your brain starts making connections and you're actually engaged and involved a lot more than you expected. So I hope this helps. Has anyone tried to create something just now? Then you may tell us that you have created. You can also, okay, let me just, good that I have not shut it off. So you can actually print this and then you can put it up in your Google Drive, and you can share that particular link, or you can share the PDF. You can share it anyhow. And you can actually give them like one word correct is 1 mark, and like time it up and all of it. Also, you can go ahead and try to see the other ones also. This is also very nice. I use them a lot. Even word search, for when you're starting a particular topic, especially topics like ethics of AI, or constitution, or rights, civic rights or something, then word search is like excellent. Let them search for the words that are there, and then every word is actually a term, and then you have the all of the terms written, because this is like a 2-minute activity, and in 2 minutes, how much ever words they can find out, they have to tell. We write those words on the whiteboard, because we're talking of online class, and then we take up each word and start explaining the concept, and that is how the whole of module and whole of the unit can be done. And you can actually ask them to give their own definitions of what they mean, and then carry on your discussion based evocative lecture there. You can also ask them to open their own browsers and search for what does it mean in different contexts, and you can have your inquiry based learning there. You can also ask them to search up for a case study of that particular word or that particular term, and then have a discussion and a case study based discussion in your class. So I think we have quite some ideas. Now, I think last 10 minutes. So questions, discussions, anything that you want to know more. Yeah, let's open it up. Okay, now first thing first, because everyone is silent and I want everyone to be engaged, right? What had you expected from this session, and was there new learning? So always, whenever I conduct sessions, normally I have an exit ticket. Now, exit ticket is 3, 2, 1 is what I ask. 3 things that were new to you, 2 things that you really liked, and 1 thing that you want to know more. You can reduce it to 2, 1, 1. That's also okay. So what are the new things that you learned? Because you're saying that you learned new things. So what are the new things that you learned? Any 2 that you can name? And any 1 that you would want to try in your class, and 1 that you want to know more about, or you feel that it is still difficult for me. So we can use these last 10 minutes to answer some puzzle making for the classes. Thank you. Think, pair, share. These are the 3 new things that you learned. Thank you, Radhika ji. Then, okay, what is the 1 thing that you would still find it difficult to attempt? Or is there any particular thing where you feel that, oh, what if my class is like this? What if my topic is like this? What if my constraints are this? Then how can we have active learning even in those constraints? So let the things come up in the chat. Thank you for your tone of delivery and use of example. Thank you. Anything that you find difficult, Abibi, like, okay, it's good to listen in the FDP resource person talking, and then when you come to actually doing it, it comes like God knows. Why I say this is because I come from organic chemistry, and it is a subject which is very volatile. So it's always like we make fun of our own subject. We make fun and we say that as long as the teacher is teaching organic chemistry, everyone understands everything. The moment teacher gets down from the podium and walks out of the class, we realize that we have not understood anything when we start to study. So that's how it is. If I'm talking about all this, then yes, it's all understood. Is it like, are you putting yourself out and imagining that, oh, can I do this? But this won't suit. Thank you, Shankarji. Thank you. Puzzles. Yeah, active learning session. The session was active learning session, so I had to make it active learning, right? That is another stress. If you're taking an active learning session, and if I just give it like a lecture, then it's not what it should be. That's what I said. I just keep on trying to explore things that, okay, let us do this. Okay, let us do that. Let us try checking this. Okay, does this work? What can happen if I do it like this? And it's not that every time, I mean, there are times when whatever you have planned goes for a toss. Like, again, I will tell you something. I wanted to teach some very technical topics. Like, now the physics people will understand this. So my previous class of this film based thing, no, it went very well, right? So I thought, okay, now again, I will I will teach physics and chemistry also using one film. I was very confident that my students would have seen Titanic, because on the basis of that whole thing, I had planned, you know, uh, lots of explanatory, like taking up the scene and then explaining what is it that is going to work. And I'm still laughing because it's very fresh. And I just asked the students, so remember Titanic, the movie? And half of the class gave me blank looks. I was so shocked. I was like, you haven't seen Titanic? I said, no. For a moment, I did not know how to react. My first reaction within me was like, what sort of people are these? Why they have not seen this movie? Then I was like, okay, now my whole my whole session goes for a toss, and I now have to think of a different movie. Then I asked them, tell me the movies or the serials that you have watched. And I had not watched any of the ones that they listed. So then I was like, okay, wait, now give me 5 minutes. Because now we either you have to see Titanic or I have to watch these movies and these serials that you have given to me. So wait, let me make a list. So I was making a list of the movies, and just at that time my brain was working at a super fast speed, that now I want to explain these things without the thing that I had planned. Now, how do I do? Because I don't want to take a lecture. Then how will I do it? So, yes, so if you are going to do active learning using a film or something, please be sure. I mean, it's not like I'm just answering this because Gopal Krishnan ji said that no. Shankar ji said that teaching skill like you, it comes through trial and error. And I mean, I am that person who will laugh along with the students if it fails. I will not feel, I mean, I don't feel bad kind of that, oh, my activity failed. In fact, it I just take a deep breath and I laugh and I say that, okay, this also taught me that my expectation, or you come from a very different place than I come from. And so we will have to talk about this again. So yeah, just making it casual helps to keep the teaching skill like this. So these are just a few pointers that you may consider, that it's not like you're not God. Come on. We are just mere mortals in the field of teaching. And whenever it fails, I will laugh and I will say the same dialogue. Like I have repeated twice in this 2 hour session. Tendulkar bhi zero pe out hota hai, so it doesn't matter. So, and then the students will be like, yeah, this correct. So with that, I think if there are no more questions, then we can stop. And yeah, if you want to reach out to me, you can via LinkedIn and also via my website. My website also has got a book where it's called as Once Upon an Online Time, where I have retold the fairy tales that you and I grew up upon, but with a cybersecurity twist. So the Red Riding Hood, when the fox actually tells her that I'm your grandmother, is nothing but the technical term called as impersonation in cybersecurity. So please sit with your kids, make them hear those stories, read them aloud, and explain cybersecurity using fairy tales. So that's something that was done. It was nominated for an international award, but yeah, there are many better people that do good work, much better than me. Tendulkar bhi zero pe out of the yes. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I sincerely thank you on the behalf of Dr. Ravi, as actually he's in his class. So seriously, I mean, the session is very informative, and definitely participant will get benefit from the sessions. So participant, if you have any query, so they will definitely teach you either on LinkedIn or some email. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks so much.